You know, David was just talking about taking things a step at a time. Yesterday I talked about love being a decision. The question that you have to ask is, okay, so if love's a decision, what is a loving decision? Well, I think the first thing I got to say is that whatever the decision is, if it's intended for adding value, seeking the highest good of the other person, or the situation, or whatever it is that you are loving, then you're on the right track. Also, though, that one step at a time thing is really, really important. It has to do with what's known as faithfulness. You know, in the world of nature, the only thing that grows fast is weeds. The good stuff takes forever to grow. You look at some of the mighty fir trees on the west coast of Canada, and you see trees that have taken 100, 150, 200 years to become that mighty, beautiful thing that they are. Well, it's the same thing with a life. You have to understand that nothing comes quickly, and that you make incremental, loving decisions that add value, and over time, you build something. Now, this applies to marriage, but it also applies to any other context where you are trying to do the loving thing, whether it's loving your neighbor, or loving your workmates, loving your community, loving your church, whatever. If you're going to add value, you're on the loving curve, if you will. Understanding that from time to time, patience is absolutely critical. You know, for 7 years, Kathy and I lived in Jerusalem, Israel, where we planted a church at the invitation of the Israeli government. One of the things we learned there in Hebrew language was the wonderful word savlanut. Savlanut means patience. Patience relates to increments. It relates to doing it a layer at a time, just showing up for work, if you will, and just grinding it out. There's nothing especially romantic about loving in that sense, but over time you actually build something. That's how life is built. That's how a community is built. That's ultimately how a nation is built. And so think of love as a decision that is faithfully applied. Stay with us. There's more to come.